at Unicorn here. You guys have been doing a wonderful job. You know, Frederick Douglass said the life of the nation is secure as long as the nation is honest, truthful, and there's fidelity. And when we think about how people are informed, how are the police officers generally informed when they drive down the street? And I think the media needs to give the context of how are black people framed in this nation. In 1619, blacks and whites were indentured servants. The kids don't get that in the schools. The Barbary Coast was the part of the Arab slave trade. Britain was still being raided for slaves. The Slavic nations were still being raided for slaves. So in 1619, blacks and whites were just happy that they weren't in slavery. They lived together, they ate together, they did everything together. It wasn't until about during Bacon's Rebellion that they sent a missive to Britain and they split the people. And they said, well, if a white woman marries a slave, she's slave and her children are slave for the rest of their lives. And that changed America totally. So I think that we need to make sure now that the nation gets the correct, full history of the black man just like everybody else. And people can go to my blog, Les Lester's Chronicle. That really summarizes it. I'm always telling people, I'm doing talks all the time. I talked with the kids today at a school, and they were really excited because you had the Minoans who were before the Greeks of black culture. Kids aren't getting that. They get about the Corinthian, the Doric, and the Ionic, but they don't get about the Minoans. And then not just Egypt, but the Etruscans were before the Romans. People don't get that. They just get this flat narrative of who America is from a European perspective. And I think that we're in the right place, but now we've got to move forward. We've got to be truthful. We've got to be honest. We've got to be virtuous. And we can have this wonderful revolution without blood that Dr. Martin Luther King was, literally talking about. Yeah, so.
So it's almost, you're talking about a revamping of the educational system as well, or just the narrative in general.
100%. I ran for the 5th Congressional District for Congress this year, but I wound up getting into the election late, and people were beginning to mail out, votes already in the mail-out system. But I want to make sure that this information got out, that we've got to merge the full black history with world history, and the Department of Education can address that right now. They can address that, and I think just looking around here, I mean, this is just wonderful. This is Minneapolis on the ground, because the racism comes from the top down, not from the bottom up. I mean, look at these people, red, yellow, black, white, all colors, no problems whatsoever. And I've been watching you guys over the last few days, and you guys have been doing a wonderful job. I kept posting about kind of what I'm saying now on your webpage when you were over at about Duarte rights, concerning rights killing. Yeah.
Thank you for that. Real quickly, what is your thoughts around the verdict, sentencing, and this space right now?
Well, as I said, I feel that, the verdict shows that people's hearts are in the right place. America's moving forward. We're showing ourselves as a virtuous people. This space, again, as I mentioned, is representative of the Twin Cities on the ground. Twin Cities is the best city in the world, and just to see all these people, everyone's calm, pensive, and again, the racism comes from the top down. If the Department of Education and the school systems do what they're supposed to do, then we're going to have this beautiful nation that we all aspire for.
Anything else you want to say?
Well, I just thought about when the young Wright was killed, that was right after the Ten Commandments movie, and I was lamenting because not only were the Egyptians black, but if you look in Genesis 10, that's the Table of Nations, you'll see that most of those people on the movie Ten Commandments should be black. And so Genesis 10 and Genesis 10:22 will show everybody who or the people and how they should be colored in these movies and stuff. And we really need to start from Hollywood. Yeah. And so, 'cause the thing is, I mean, interestingly, George Floyd, they say he had a $20 counterfeit money, you know. So if the issue is money, we built up this incredible economy in the United States. It's about a $20 trillion gross domestic product. And we see the monies are available because we've been able to, with no problem whatsoever, take care of people, keep the economy going. And if that started because of money, we should ensure that we get money in people's pockets. Yeah.
All right, thank you.
My pleasure.
Yes. Where can people find more about you?
You can just Google Les Lester, Minnesota, or Les Lester's Chronicle.
City council member, as well as person, Les Lester, running for office. City council member was Keith Ellison's son, Jeremiah.